I'd much rather be devoured by you than Legoshi or Bill. It might actually feel pretty good.
Yeah, in your dreams.
Greetings, viewers! Night here, bringing you another review. I'm going to be honest, I wasn't exactly a fan of Netflix when they came out. I forget exactly why. Hearing about the bombs they post on their platform didn't exactly help my opinion either. However, as years have gone by, I've become a tad more open-minded about them. And it was mainly due to the times my girlfriend came to visit during December. While I'm more active on YouTube, I can't deny that Netflix has put out some pretty decent shows. Stranger Things, The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina the Teenage Witch, the Fruits Basket remake. I've also noticed that a lot of their new shows star anthropomorphic animals. Agretzko, BoJack Horseman, I think B&A is or will be streaming there, correct me if I'm wrong, and of course the subject of this video, Beastars. Now, at first I simply heard the premise of the show. A wolf named Legoshi falls in love with a rabbit named Haru, despite the pair being two different species, and I wasn't terribly impressed. I thought it was just going to be another forbidden romance story. And then I watched videos from Jack Saint, Kamui Miracle, and JoJo Talks so much and thought, oh, you know what, this actually sounds kind of neat. Maybe I'll actually check it out. And I'm glad I did because, oh my god, is there way more here than I originally gave it credit for. Before I go any further though, like with my newest arc review, getting footage for this was a royal pain. It seems the Netflix converter I have is outdated, and refuses to update, and thus I felt I would have to scrap this whole thing. So big thanks to DoodleBug on Twitter who helped me out. Beastars started as a manga created by Paru Itagaki, which started out in a magazine in 2016 before becoming its own manga in the following year, and got an anime adaptation in 2019. From what I can tell, the adaptation is incredibly faithful, even though the manga is, last time I checked, still ongoing, with only a few trivial things changed. And seeing where one of the main characters pulls a gun on another, the animation for this anime is in CGI, and I don't recall seeing an anime like it since the Gregory Horace show, and both those shows have a completely different art style and tone. The anime was made by Orange Studios, which has 6 other anime under the belt that use CGI models. I've been told by some people that the way the characters move is very off-putting, and even gives some people headaches, so they're completely uninterested in watching the anime, and I can completely understand that. Yes, when the characters are simply talking, it'd be easy to mistake this just simply stylized 2D animation, but when they move, I doubt it's as appealing as the animators intended it to be. To be honest, I think making the characters CGI models kind of takes away some of the humor their exaggerated expressions have in the manga. But on the other side of that coin, it appears they do use 2D animation when they want to be comedic. Personally, while I prefer 2D animation, I understand that animation and art in general needs to experiment and evolve if it's going to survive. The basic premise of Beastars is that the world is inhabited by anthropomorphic animals, and the first 9 or 10 volumes of the manga take place at Sheraton Academy, which is attended by a lot of different animal species. So many species, in fact, that I doubt anyone other than a zoology nerd could identify them all. Seriously, what the hell is this girl meant to be? I also thought at first that a lot of these characters were going to be to scale, the big animals being roughly the size of an average person, and the smaller animals being about the size of children. But that's only half true. Yes, animals like wolves and bears are fairly big, but then they get characters like Alba and Dom, a bald eagle and peafowl, who are at the same height as some of the larger species of animals, maybe even a bit taller in Dom's case, due to his long neck. We also see herbivores like Kibby the anteater, and Els the goat, just barely up to the carnivore's waist, and animals like rats and mice are so small they need to stick to their own walkways so they don't get stepped on by the larger species. And the first chapter/episode features a squirrel girl that's the size of an average child, however. There are 2 classes in the series, carnivores and herbivores. I have one issue with this. Chickens are not herbivores. They're known to eat small rodents and reptiles if given the opportunity. Thus, they're omnivores if anything. And anteaters are insectivores. Herbivores are viewed as physically weak, but strong leaders who mostly run the society of this world, whereas carnivores are physically powerful and intimidating. They're usually marginalized due to the fact that they are naturally meat eaters. While herbivores may have sass and bravado on their side, they are physically weak and often terrified that the carnivores they share this society with will one day snap and eat them. And it actually happens a few times in this series, either intentionally or by accident. There's even a place called the Backhanded Market where carnivores can go to indulge in their meat eating, and there are cases of herbivores being kidnapped and kept as livestock. Yeah, while this world has the outward appearance of being civilized, instincts are still very much a thing in this series, like carnivores having predatory urges, and some species of animals competing over a female of their species. So if the carnivores still have a craving for meat, but attacking and eating a herbivore is tantamount to murder in this world, what's their meat substitute? Mostly veggie meats, milk, and eggs. We can't really include fish like they do in Zootopia, since the manga reveals that fish are just as sentient as the animals on land. Despite all the underlying darkness, I actually like discovering these kind of things. I like learning that birds need to pass a sort of test in order to get a license so they can fly, or that marine animals find clothes uncomfortable, and thus they're basically nude while in the privacy of their own homes. It's a little something called world building. Now let's talk about the title of this series. Just what is a Beastar? Well, it's basically one or more extraordinary individual who can help support and potentially shape society. And that's mainly the point of Chariton Academy, to possibly find the next Beastar. Though a representative from each and every species needs to agree on the proposed candidate, with herbivores and carnivores wanting a member of their own species to claim that title. Holy crap, I'm 4 pages into my script and haven't actually talked about the story yet. So yeah, the main focus character is Legoshi, a grey wolf who's part of Chariton's drama club, who'd rather just stay unnoticed in the background. This understandably causes a lot of the other club members, mostly the herbivores, to view him as weird and more than a little creepy. It kind of doesn't help. That's repeatedly pointed out that he's extraordinarily tall for his species and age, though this is something he really doesn't care about, since he'd rather keep them himself. But like a lot of other carnivores, Legoshi has this deep-seated need to eat meat, which he's suppressed since childhood, and is in constant fear that he won't be able to control himself and just snap and eat one of his schoolmates one day. Which actually almost happens. Yeah, at the end of the first episode, he catches the scent of the rabbit Haru, and due to his instincts almost taking him over completely, comes dangerously close to eating her. Things get even more problematic when later on, Legoshi forms a rather confusing attachment to Haru, unable to tell if these things are simply wanting to be her friend, developing romantic attraction, or confused predatory instincts that have zeroed in on the little white bun. Bun gonna die! It kinda doesn't help that Haru has a rather negative reputation for sleeping with pretty much every guy that comes onto her. And the first time they actually meet, Haru assumes Legoshi wants to have sex with her just like everyone else, which may be what sets off his confused feelings towards her. Legoshi also has a romantic rival of sorts, in the form of the Red Deer Louie, the prize student at Chariton, who everyone wants to see become the next Beastar. Well, almost everyone. In the 6th episode, we're introduced to Juno, a female grey wolf who becomes smitten with Legoshi after he defends her from a pair of bullies, and unknowingly is a rival to Haru for his attention. Juno's devotion to Legoshi is so strong that she gets Louie alone in the drama club room, pins him down, and states that she intends for Legoshi to become the next Beastar, so he can represent all carnivores. So, yeah, this little cinnamon roll's got an aggressive streak to her. Oh, and I'm just gonna point this out because it's stuck with me ever since I heard it.
I'd much rather be devoured by you than Legoshi or Bill. It might actually feel pretty good.
Yeah, in your dreams.
So the first time I heard that, I sat up and thought, was that meant to be sexual? Cause that kinda sounded sexual. And that isn't in the manga either. So yeah, the anime sort of made this sexual tension between the two characters, where there really wasn't any yet. Although to be fair, sexual tension is kind of a subtle trope in this series. Oh yeah, I probably should talk about the sex. It is kind of a theme in this series, but like other anime, the sexual situations aren't just there for the sake of baiting its audience. Most of the time anyway. It has a narrative purpose, and adds a bit to the conflict with this love triangle. Or would it be a love square if we had Juno to the mix? There's never really a sex scene featuring Haru, just for the sake of featuring a sex scene. Plus, you never really see anything graphic. I only bring this up because I know there are probably some people who might try to claim that this is nothing but a bunch of furry sex baiting. No, this series handles sexual situations in a rather dignified manner. Sometimes. Oh, the series also opens up with an alpaca named Tim being killed and eaten by one of his classmates in the middle of the night. I kind of overlooked that because it's really only mentioned a few times and not really the focus of the series until much later when Legoshi decides to investigate who might have done it in the manga. Part of me feels like it would have been nice if we gotten to know Tim before his murder, but the realist knows that apart from his death, the only thing we really knew about Tim is that he never really got to confess to having a crush on Els. The fact that Tim died without us actually getting to know him is also a decent way to show that while there's this outward appearance of two social classes getting along, there's a barely hidden underlying prejudice they hold against one another. It also sort of helps Els realize that while Legoshi may look scary, he's actually a decent guy and comes to see him as a friend. Like with the Gretzko and BoJack Horseman, just because Beastars has anthropomorphic animals as its main characters, this series has a lot of adult themes and heavy issues that wouldn't be suitable for children. Sexual situations, racial profiling and discrimination, slut-shaming, body trafficking, self-mutilation, organized crime, homicide, corrupt political figures, suicide attempts, and a whole lot more. And unlike what some hipsters might want to say, I don't think this is all done for the sake of being edgy, but to be somewhat relatable, and actually a form of social commentary. I'm gonna be honest, I relate to Legoshi way too much, especially when it comes to my own feelings regarding someone I may be romantically interested in, and how he'd rather be unnoticed by others, before slowly socializing more and more as the series goes on. I really enjoy the writing of this series, since Pyro does a really good job of not making this feel like a generic school life manga. More focus is put on the characters and what they're going through, rather than some wacky antics going on around school that really don't contribute any growth or development. The chapters that feel like they're filler actually turn out to be connected to a main character or the current storyline in some way. I and others feel there's a lot of underlying social commentary here, and it's honestly really good and thought-provoking if you take the time to recognize and examine it. There are a lot of reasons for why characters do what they do. Haru doesn't sleep around because she's a slut, but it's because having sex is the only time others aren't looking at her like she's a defenseless child that needs protecting due to being a rabbit. Legoshi resents being a carnivore because he finds the idea of taking another life repugnant, and has a self-hatred complex. He takes out on Bill the tiger, who indulges in his carnivore nature, and his inability to properly identify his feelings for Haru only complicate things for him. Nui resents carnivores because they possess the physical strength he lacks, resents his father for treating him more like an investment than an actual son, has the expectations of a lot of people, himself included, weighing on his shoulders, and a dark childhood that still plagues his nightmares. There is so much I could talk about with this series, and I'm not even sure where to start in one video, so I may do more in future. Last thing I'm going to talk about is the anime's voice acting, going mainly with the English dub because that's what I ended up watching. Legoshi is voiced by Dennis Scott. I've never heard of this guy, but according to Behind the Voice Actor, he has 4 other roles under his belt, and in an interview, he says he actually read the manga to prepare for his role. While I can't say I'm a complete fan of him yet, I do think he made Legoshi an interesting character to follow. Like the Japanese VA Chikahiro Kobayashi, Jonah gives Legoshi a rather deep voice. That kinda makes it hard to believe. The character is 17, but then I've met teenagers who do sound like adults, so... okay, I guess. Griffin Peroratu, I still hope I didn't butcher your last name, is another newbie to me. Although I guess I have heard him since I watched Pokemon Twilight Wings when it came out. Hold on. No way. This guy voices Hop in that series.
Lulu! I'm so sorry!
Anyway, like Dylan did for Legoshi, Griffin really did bring Louie to life for me. I can't say I like Louie all that much, but Griffin really nailed the character of being a perfectionist with control and anger issues. At least that's how I view Louie. Now, unlike the previous two guys, I'm very familiar with Lara Jill Miller, who is the voice of Haru. I was actually surprised when I heard that voice come out of the little rabbit's mouth, since Lara is mostly known for voicing Kari from Digimon, and she really doesn't change her voice all that much for different roles. When I heard her in this series, I actually wondered where this side of her was during the 90s. It's good to hear her again, and I hope I get to hear her more in future. Would I recommend Beastars? Yeah, I really think it's worth your time to experience. You don't really have to be a furry to enjoy the series, although it probably helps. You can read the manga on Mangadex, and find the anime on Netflix. The anime is really easy to binge. You'll probably get through it in 4 hours tops, while the manga might take you anywhere between a few weeks to a month. Before I sign off, apparently the anime is getting its second season next year, and I want to share something from the manga with you that I think will make the first half of season 2 a lot of fun.
When I'm alone with a girl in a dimly lit classroom, I feel an uncontrollable urge to kiss her. Senpai, do you feel like eating me right now? You've got a sheep ready to be eaten, right in front of you.
This is Night Night saying thanks for letting me share my thoughts. Please share yours with me.